Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Hope you guys are doing well out there. As the Miami Heat, they'll be back in action on Monday, taking on the New York Knicks. Little home and home. They lost the first one. NBA Cup game. Of course, we all saw the rebounding effort, and I'm sure the Heat got after it today a little bit at practice. The Miami Heat, though, the big news today at practice was that the Heat got some action from Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro. Eric Spoelstra saying that they worked a little bit with the backups today. It gave them a little bit of juice, the third unit, he said. And it seems like a return is near for the Miami Heat All-Stars. Now, Bam today was formally ruled out. Tyler Herro let reporters know off the bat he's looking to return in a week or two. And so they both seem like they're at different spots because it sounded, not to play, press conference doctor, but Bam was like, the trainers are holding me back for myself. He was even asked like by Anthony Chang, well, are you going to play against the Knicks? And he goes, I'm going to go ask the trainers. He sounds like he's itching to come out there and play. He sounds miserable being on the sidelines, and he wants to get back as soon as possible. So it based on the both of them speaking, it sounds like Bam wants to get back as soon as possible. I'm sure that the rebounding thing is also sticking with him, that he really wants to help get that fixed for the Miami Heat. And he did say that he is in a lot less pain, which was good news. He also said on the rebounding, he thinks that the idea is that he thinks this is just some bad timing on there. I don't know if this is like, some new teammates out there, maybe some lack of chemistry on the floor with one another, and that there's some issues. Because I will say, like, look, some of the rebounding stuff, yes, there have definitely been the putbacks and things that are annoying like that, but there's also been a lot of leaky, just not even like watching film, just like watching these games. There's been a lot of like leaky rebounds that have bounced in weird spots and have gone to weird spots because a ton of threes getting hoisted up all over the place. Not an excuse, like you got to end the possessions as it is, and the Miami Heat just have not done a good job of doing it. I've referenced this in the last video, but you guys can go read Anthony's article in the Miami Herald about the difference without having Bam Adebayo there, just to even box out on how much it's affecting the Miami Heat from a statistical standpoint. Rebounding, it's not great, Bob, and they certainly need him back. Jovic spoke to the media today. He was making that point as well, that he says he doesn't think that the rebounding is a reflection, the numbers are a reflection on their ability to do it. So we'll see. Tomorrow night, the Knicks will also be banged up. No OG Anunoby, who got hurt in the last game, and still no Jalen Brunson, who's dealing with that ankle injury. So, both teams shorthanded. You would like the Heat to try and get a split in this one for sure, and certainly corral that ability. I mean, Landry Shamet was amazing the last game. You would like it for him not to get off like the way he did this last game. Karl Anthony Towns, certainly know you're going to get more shots put up from him. But this is going to be an interesting match. But man, Udonis Haslem, who was not pleased with tweets about the rebounding, he got into it on Twitter with Ben Stiller, who is, I think by every measure, the most annoying, most unctuous Knicks fan on social media. I don't know if he's the most annoying Knicks fan. I'm sure that's one of those bing bong fellas, whatever the hell they're doing, but he was talking shit about Casper Ware on social media because Heat vs. Haters put up the clip of UD talking about him texting Kalel and to watch Mitchell Robinson. And then he just goes, it will happen again. And then this mother bleeper reposts the video of Landry Shamet dunking on Kalel, which he did. Clean poster. Props to Kalel for going for the block, but Landry Shamet put it right on his head. Happens. He said, some more film study. And I just got to tell you, Fokker, I am not pleased with the jokey jokes, okay? And neither is Udonis Haslem. Udonis Haslem tweeted to Ben Stiller yesterday. He said, big fan, but this clearly ain't your lane. And then he posts, and then he then adds him on the video of Karl Anthony Towns passing the ball to himself. And he goes, will this happen again too? With the eyes emoji and the shrug emoji. So there's some chitter chatter going on between the Heat legend and, of course, Hollywood's Ben Stiller. So, that is happening. So Bam says that he's going to be back soon. It seems like, but he is out against the New York Knicks. Tyler Herro. So this was a fascinating one. Tyler had some fascinating things to say to the media today. His first time talking to the media in a very long time. He said that, it felt good to be out there, but he's still a week or two before he's back. And then he was asked by Ira, well, you said, you were hoping that maybe even start of the season you're going to be back. And then Tyler said, well, there's no definitive timetable for the return. He said some people have this surgery. It takes 3 to 5 months. Once it got to 6 weeks, he wasn't even ready to be back on the court. And it really all depends on how your foot responds. Now, mind you, he didn't have anything put in his foot. He had a bone taken out of his foot. And the whole point of this is to try and make sure he doesn't get any more pain. This was something that apparently was bothering him last year. So you do want this just to be done and done. And to move on. And I know that, Ira and others have put at the point that, he's basically nuked any chance of getting all NBA. Not that I think he would have had a great chance at it anyway, because you missed that already. And, I don't think anybody was going to put him in that ilk anyway of all NBA, one of the top 15 players in the league. But, it's obviously a storyline with his potential contract and it makes him eligible for more things. But I don't even think he was. If Tyler, who already was backing off of it's more expensive stuff, he was saying, I never said that it had to be the max or nothing. So I don't think that's a big concern. The bigger concern is he needs to come here. Yeah, of course, play as many games as possible. And he made that point. He's like, listen, I get paid to play games, and he had no problem with the 65 rule today, the 65 game rule. He's like, it's fair. Like, you get paid to play games, and I want to be as available as possible. But he also wants his foot to feel right. And I think that one of the things that's been a luxury of the Heat not torpedoing with Tyler being out is that you've given a little bit of reprieve to, okay, you don't have to rush back for this because we know the Heat are going through one of their tougher parts of the schedule early on. So, but he was making the point that he said it depends on how the foot feels. And so, again, that's going to come down to if he's ramping it up and it doesn't feel right, okay, then maybe we're looking at 2 weeks. Maybe we're looking at 3 weeks. Who knows? But it doesn't quite sound like it doesn't sound like it's coming to focus quite yet of when he'll be ready. Like, it sounds like Bam is itching to come back, but they're being cautious. And it sounds like with Tyler, he wants to make sure he's 110% ready to go and he'll be off and running this season. And I kind of agree with that method because obviously there's already these questions about, like, how is he going to fit into the offense? How is he going to fit next to Norman Powell? You don't want to come in, then have a setback, and you're back to this all over again. Like, oh, we got him back, and now he's gone, and now we got to get used to him again. No, I think it's better. And that kind of happened. That happened in 23, 24 when he had the bad ankle injury in Memphis, and then he comes back with Terry, and then he got hurt again. And then Terry got hurt after he came back, and they just never got time together. So, yeah, I think you ultimately just want him back and ready to rock. For what it's worth, Eric Spoelstra said there's no timetable for their return today. So he was typically Heat vague on the injuries. I was actually surprised that they spoke to the media, to be honest with you. But Herro did say on the offense that he has no thought. He is not, and I know the skeptic will be like, well, why would he say anything else? But he's like, I got no issues with the offense. He's like, I want to play fast. This dude's like Ricky Bobby. He wants to go out there, Cougar in the car. If you're not first, you're last. He's like, I've been playing fast my whole life up until I got to Miami. And then I had to adjust to certain players. So I don't know. He sounds like he digs the offensive system. And there is part of me too where I definitely feel like some of these lulls and I definitely think that, you know, there are pockets where you definitely can see like, man, this guy's gonna help. It's gonna be an infusion when he's there. It's not that Tyler doesn't have things to prove. He certainly does, obviously, but I don't think that this team is shown over. I think there's been games, but I don't think that over the course of the whole season they've shown they don't need him. I don't think that that's been the case. Now, it's maybe a tougher read because you also don't have Bam, but I think I don't think that stamp is done yet. I understand why it's out there. I understand why the narrative's out there because of the past postseasons where he hasn't been out there and things like that and past injuries. I understand why it is out there, but I don't necessarily know that I have all the evidence that I need to just put a stamp down and say, oh, they'll for sure, they're better without him. I'm curious. I think part of this season is exploratory. I think part of this season is learning these things. I think part of this season is figuring out who are your guys and who all fits together the right way. So that being said, it still sounds like he's a little bit away. And we'll anticipate his return and see what he's got to do. Casper Ware, by the way, made his debut today for the Skyforce. I'm gonna be a film junkie. I'm gonna dive into the film on this Casper Ware game. He was playing for Sioux Falls. I got his final numbers. 12. Now, mind you, he hasn't played. He's practiced, but he hasn't played a game. He hasn't played a game since training camp. So before everybody gets crazy with this box score, just mind that. 12 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals, 4 of 15 from the field, 2 of 5 from downtown, and 6 turnovers. All right. So I'm gonna see. I want to see it for myself though. I want to see what Ghost put up for the Heat for the Skyforce tonight. But we'll take a little looky-loo at that, and then maybe we'll give some other thoughts on that. But that is just box score watching. That's what he put up today on the Sioux Falls debut for Casper's.